Well, newly released today, Senator Tom Coburn's annual waste book, listing what he says is wasteful federal spending, topping $30 billion this year.
I want to be a reindeer and helpful old Santa sleigh. I want to be a reindeer.
We only wish we were kidding. Mistletoe, a musical costing $10,000 of taxpayer money. Also a project funding romance novels at the cost of $900,014. Look at this. Look at this. Why are we paying for that? And a study on the inner workings of Congress for the price tag of $3 million. I love that one, and I'll explain why. Joining me tonight to discuss it, Brooke Goldstein, a human rights attorney, Mike Gallagher of The Mike Gallagher Show, and Julie Roginski, who's a Democratic strategist. I love the one about Congress because it's like, you know what would be fascinating is if we studied us. People are so interested in us. That's worth $3 million, right? Not to mention, who decides that we need mistletoe for $10,000?
Mistletoe is.
Do you have $10,000 to pay for mistletoe?
Look how amusing mistletoe was. Come on.
Oh, and just so the viewers know what it is the the charming story about a moose who wants to fly with Santa's reindeer. Why is this necessary?
They didn't spend the $10,000 on costumes. I'm going to tell you that. That is nasty.
How? And this is obviously National Endowment of the Arts, right? They get all sorts of money, Brooke, to fund things like this. It's a joke until you think of the vets we started the show with, who are actually losing their cost of living adjustment, and 10,000 here and 10,000 there and $1 million here and $1 million there adds up.
Of course it adds up, and it's all fun and games until we start funding things that are directly contrary to our national security interests. I mean, we've talked about how we're spending $244 million just this year funding schools that teach children to become suicide bombers in the Middle East. We're actually doing that through UNRWA, the United Nations Relief Works Agency. And also, if I can mention the Fort Hood, Major Nidal Hassan continues to get benefits paid out of our taxpayer dollars.
Right.
The reclassification of Fort Hood as a workplace violence, not a terrorist attack, has not only given him benefits, but has denied the victims' families the benefits that they're entitled to.
Yeah.
It's frivolous spending, and we're not spending on the right thing.
And then you hear about, the parking garage down in Maryland, Mike.
Well,
$50 million for a parking garage? Why don't they take that $50 million, tell Maryland, sorry, give it to those vets?
and you said it at the beginning of the program, it's all about priorities. It's a total abdication of any common sense with priorities. And I agree, the most egregious thing on Senator Coburn's list is the payment of Major Nidal Hassan's salary while military families are struggling to get their benefits. I mean, there's no sense of priority.
It's not a lot of money, but it's the symbolism. It's the principle of it.
But here's the problem. When I worked down in D.C. in the Senate, this is exactly what you saw. Each of these congressmen, each of these senators has their priority. I'm sure that garage is important to some congressman or some senator in their particular district, and we end up paying for it.
Too bad.
Oh, I agree. But this is how you have bridges to nowhere.
Why don't you explain to those vets,
I agree.
Those quadruple amputees, why your parking garage that already has $120 million bucks into it needs another $50 million.
And they started in 1997. I mean, they can't even complete it on. That's not even efficiency. I mean, forget priorities.
Priorities, though. It's where do you draw the line? And there's so many instances where our taxpayer dollars are going towards funding things that are illegal to fund according to federal law. I mean, we have a Muslim outreach program, for example, that is going towards hiring groups like the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is a Muslim Brotherhood front. It's been called a fundraising arm for Hezbollah, which is a designated terrorist group, and CARE is training the FBI to be afraid of being fired because they're being charged with Islamophobia as opposed to protecting it.
I think they do it because they think they can get away with it. They don't think people are paying attention.
Right.
We
do these reports every year, but nothing ever comes.
Nobody ever changes. But who wants to offend military families? Look at those brave heroes that you're showing with one leg, and who wants to? No politician wants to offend them.
They're willing to.
But again, I want to go back to this. It's because these members of Congress have their little pet projects that they don't want to offend their constituents, and they're powerful enough. That's how.
Speaking of money, we have to get to this because there are a lot of people out there tonight with the ticket. The Mega Millions jackpot. It's a multi-state lottery game. We are talking now. The jackpot at $636 million. Second largest lotto jackpot in U.S. history. If it's not won tonight, they think the drawing will be up to $1 billion. Could be up to $1 billion. Somebody could win in the lottery.
God bless America.
What do you make of it?
God bless America.
I hope they don't win so I could buy a ticket.
I mean,
I forgot. So I kind of hope it doesn't happen tonight.
It's such a celebration of everything that's great about this country. The chance to walk away with $1 billion before taxes.
And yet they say that when you win the lottery, it ruins your life in a lot of these cases. How many stories have we had of lottery winners who come forward and say, I wish I had never won. It was more of a curse than it was a blessing.
Think of all the freeloaders that end up showing up at your door. All those people from high school that you haven't spoken to in like 30 years. That they're like, come on, give me $1 million, you've got $1 billion. And
here's my question: do we believe these people? The people who say their lives are ruined. Do we believe these people, or do we just want to believe them because of our envy?
I had a caller because we're jealous. I had a caller to my radio show. I'll never forget this. Years ago, named Dexter. He won the lottery. He bought cars for everybody in his family. He bought 6 homes. Flat broke.
Yeah.
He was on welfare after it was all over.
But you have a better chance of better chance of getting struck by lightning, better chance of getting killed by a donkey, better chance of getting killed in a car.
You're making that up.
You name it, than you do of winning this jackpot. So do you waste your money in buying tickets? Have you done it?
I will. I mean,
quickly before I let you go, if you won this jackpot, would you show up at work tomorrow?
Absolutely, and I would donate it to great charities like United Against Nuclear Iran, which is the foremost expert that is being awarded.
Look at Brooke. You gotta lighten up.
I'm
okay,
done.
Mike, how about
you? Are you kidding me? They just see the back of my head. I'd be done. I'd take about 30% for me, 70% try to do good things for other people, but that's it. I'm done with it.
I will never see you again. Expect to never see me on the show if I win this lottery, but chances are I'll probably see you next week.
I hope.